Today, I'm going to be talking about decentralization. More importantly, what qualifies as decentralization and why it's so important for us as a community to come together and overall, with the help of everyone, choose a meaning that we can all agree on qualifies as decentralization. You might not understand why it's important, but that's why I made this video because I realized that decentralization as a topic is super important for us to know, have a certain meaning on. Otherwise, we can get exploited. If you don't believe me, I have example. You may have heard of a company called Hyperliquid, and you may have heard of what recently was going on, but it is kind of complicated, so I'm here to explain it in as simple terms as I can. So essentially, there's this company called Hyperliquid, and they've been showing themselves as decentralized, like that's how they market themselves, and they're kind of well known, like not super super popular, but definitely a known name to people who know a lot about crypto. But the point is that they're big enough where what they did might set a precedent for others and like a problem for that may soon arise. So Hyperliquid is decentralized, like I mentioned, because it doesn't control any of it what happens here, but instead it is controlled by about 16 validators that validate stuff that happens there, and they can choose whether, like, as 16 validators they come together and choose what happens. And now recently there's this person, and what he did is he shorted Jelly Jelly, which is like a coin that Hyperlink like kind of uses to promote itself. And what I mean by this is basically Hyperlink. It has a unique aspect that has where basically if any of your money is like liquefied, like you take out a loan, the money gets liquefied, it still keeps that buy order, short order, whatever you had, it keeps that order instead of selling it to break even like most companies do. And basically, this person created a short order for Jelly Jelly, which basically means when the price they make a profit if the price goes down. And then on different exchanges, they had a bunch of buy orders for Jelly Jelly. Now, as a lot of you probably know, the most common way that people like to make money is when they see a coin that's worth less on one exchange and more on another exchange. They buy the coin on the exchange that's worth less and sell it to on the exchange that's worth more. So they make some simple money because of transactions and stuff. But as a reality, like just because as a conclusion or like due to this, what tends to happen is that the price tends to even out basically like flat, because when you do that, the price of one rises and the price of another drops until they're equal, and that strategy no longer works. So the problem with what this guy did is by shorting it on their exchange and like buying it everywhere else, what essentially happens is that person who did this, their short is guaranteed to fail, because when they drag the price up like on every other exchange, a lot of people are going to buy from this exchange where it's worth less, driving the price up, and then sell on the other exchanges, driving the price down. And the thing is, since Hyperliquid keeps all of these orders, Hyperliquid takes more of a blunt and more of a hit from this than the person does. The person only loses however much they gave for the before they're liquefied, but Hyperliquid loses everything after that. And considering this person has enough money to change an entire coin's like worth over multiple exchanges, they definitely could take the hit. But Hyperliquid is relatively new, and the hit they received is a lot more than what the person received. And a lot of people are actually speculating whether other exchanges, such as Binance, like centralized exchanges that don't like decentralized exchanges, did it. But I would like to say there is no proof for that, so I don't want to say I'm convincing you of it. But so far, people are thinking that because given the facts we have, that makes the most sense, because anyone who does this, it seems like intentional. Like doing this on accident because you don't know crypto is like it's just not that plausible compared to what we said or like what's also like people are thinking. And because of this, hyperliquid, which basically can't take the blunt of this hit that well without having problems for its company, essentially forced or not forced, but like convinced the 16 or 14 or so uh verifiers or like validators to make it so that to take this hit, like sell this specific thing, the specific order, because it harms them by claiming it was an attack, such as been speculated. But the point is, there's no proof of this. And the point is, a decentralized exchange should not be able to, like, change how it works. Like, that goes against decentralization as a topic. But what they did is technically a gray area because it is viewed as decentralized, even though they were able to convince the people who have control over it. And this is why I want to talk to you today, because I am a strong believer of decentralization in crypto. That is why crypto was first created, for decentralization. But this, I feel like, could lead to many problems, and specifically corrupt companies claiming to be decentralized can't do actions like this that are very, very centralized and get away with it. Otherwise, there's going to be immense problems for all of us. And what I mean by this is by decentralizing or you convincing people to come here because you can't be corrupt, like your money is in safer hands, and like it's like more appetizing, I guess, to people to go on a decentralized company than a centralized company for the most part, because it makes the company feel like more truthful or safer. But by be as saying they're decentralized and being able to control the validators, at least in my personal opinion, that is very much centralized because they are controlling the exact thing that decentralization says they shouldn't be able to control. They're going against what crypto was created for, like fully. And I feel like people, to an extent, is our big problem of this because I feel like recently crypto has been going away from its main purpose. A lot of people are try to use crypto to get rich, like it's another stock market, or they try to create a startup like AI or like that has to do with crypto, like I've talked about, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like that shouldn't be the main focus. The main focus should be what it always has been. Use crypto, make it popular so that governments can control our money. And if you're allowing corporations that have all the money to control how they act while saying they can't, it's no better than what governments are doing right now. And the problem is if everyone has different views on what decentralization is, there will always be a gray area, and companies always use gray areas. That's what all their advantages come from. Even presidents of all the governments, they use gray areas in the laws to make up their own laws. Many presidents have been examples of this. And this is also happened in companies. They say stuff, they do something else because it technically is the same thing. And that is a very big problem that we just cannot let happen. Like, I cannot specify enough how big of a problem this is. We cannot let people tell us something with the belief when while knowing we have the belief it is something else. Because when that happens, we are manipulated, we are taken advantage of, and as the people, we're the ones with power here. We're the ones who could control whether corporations shut down, stay in business, or like what norms corporations have to follow to if we work together. And this is something we definitely have to work together for. Because it always starts with small examples like these, and then it becomes more prominent. And before you know it, it's a situation that people believe is too hard to control, and then they don't try to control it. And that's mostly gonna wrap it up for today. That's like all I have to talk about. But I want you to go here with a sort of mindset that even if you know or you think we won't be able to come up with something like we can agree on as like a union of people, because getting a lot of people to agree on one thing tends to be tough, we should at least set boundaries for companies and be super clear on what they're saying. They can't just say decentralized, they have to explain it like maybe the meaning of what they think decentralized represents. And we have to stop this because corruption is already prominent everywhere. And while that's going to be possible to get rid of, corruption will always stay there. What we can do is limit it at this and stop more corruption from happening. If you like this video, please share with others. Please subscribe. I'm a new channel, so every subscription, every like means a lot to me. Every comment on what I can do to improve means a lot to me. But please at least consider what I'm saying. And if you don't, tell me why you're not, because it is important to me to see your guys' feedback and also see whether I'm wrong, because maybe I'm wrong. I've done research, a lot of it, but if I am somehow wrong, I wouldn't want to give anyone watching a negative view or like a wrong view completely. So I would appreciate any feedback you guys have, whether you feel it be too negative or anything. That doesn't matter to me, because I'm still trying to improve. Thank you. Bye.